West Yorkshire, home to nearly 2.5 million people, 70% of which have experienced a traumatic event during their lifetime. In this mini-series, we'll be taking a deep dive into the West Yorkshire Adversity, Trauma and Resilience programme, jointly delivered by the West Yorkshire Health and Care Partnership and the West Yorkshire Violence Reduction Partnership. The programme aims to prevent harm and improve the well-being of the population. We've previously heard some of the work the Adversity, Trauma and Resilience programme has achieved so far, but how can they continue that into the future?
By ensuring that every single member of staff is aware of the role that they have to play in being trauma responsive. So we continue with the learning, we continue with the opportunities to give staff a chance to kind of engage with each other around trauma-informed care and what that means. And we continue to receive support and ideas from people about what would work in their service and what's important to them and their service users. So being open all the time, I think, is how we remain responsive.
By constantly looking for new ways of improving our service, being flexible in the way that we work, and ensuring that we meet the needs of service users who are attending our emergency department.
Giving staff in all sectors an understanding about the effects of trauma is central to the message of the West Yorkshire ATR programme.
It's essential for services when they're working with people to understand the implications or the manifestations of trauma, particularly complex trauma when people experience childhood, because that can have an impact on the life course. And when you're delivering services, it's really critical to understand how that can play out in your services, because if we don't have an understanding, it's really difficult to create an equitable outcome, because the manifestations can come out in different areas. So if you've got staff that understand trauma and can respond in an appropriate way, what you tend to find is those workforces become more compassionate and understanding towards maybe sometimes people that don't reach the goals that they're expecting them to reach. So I think the kind of crux of the conversation is rounded off through equity, to try and create services that can respond in a way that give every person that's got the potential to have the very best outcome.
The West Yorkshire Adversity, Trauma and Resilience programme is like a tree. Rooted in communities, everything is done with people in mind. The roots ground the tree as a reminder of why the work is so essential and who they are making a difference for. Above the roots is the trunk, the bulk of the tree. This represents the systems and high-level organisations that make managerial decisions. As the trunk holds up the branches, so too do these organisations that guide and fund the smaller localities within West Yorkshire. Reaching out from the central trunk are the branches. These are the smaller organisations in each local area across West Yorkshire. The branches stretch out beyond the confines of the trunk, but they are still connected to it and are supported by it. Finally, the leaves. These represent the initiatives, work streams, services and interventions. The leaves may come in all different colours, shapes and sizes depending on the needs in the specific locality, but they are still all connected to the roots, to the fundamental purpose of the programme, to improve the health and well-being of the population. Thank you for watching this mini-series about the West Yorkshire Adversity, Trauma and Resilience programme. Across the series, we've seen the journey so far from the early beginnings.
The West Yorkshire Adversity, Trauma and Resilience journey started in 2020.
Following the safeguarding review.
The resilience documentary being showed in Bradford and promoting that discussion.
When we launched with it, we said that it was a live document, a live piece of work.
To gathering pace.
We were able to appoint an adversity, trauma and resilience lead to give it that extra focus.
We've recently delivered a workshop where we've brought together practitioners from adults and children's services to share their really good practice.
Ensuring co-production is built into everything that we're doing when we're setting up a new service or we're needing to transform it, and bringing and working with people with lived experience into that design and that decision making.
So I'd really love to emphasise the resilience piece and the way in which people can take back control of their lives. an amazing extension of learning for practitioners, professionals and people entering the field as well, students at the university that will look to develop after their courses.
We've heard from partner organisations in different sectors all across the region on how they are spreading the importance of trauma-informed practice and the impact that can have helping employers look after their staff.
A system that works together to understand that the people that we meet, either professionally or personally, have got a history, have got a backstory.
We want to be a service that asks the questions, what happened to you, rather than what is wrong with you.
So the West Yorkshire programme is all sectors working together. We can't do this unless every sector works together.
Being a trauma-informed system really embeds our principles of early help and looking to reduce those inequalities that we see across West Yorkshire.
Going out across the system into other bits of the service, particularly our criminal justice partners.
Kids getting the best possible start of life in loving situations where they're well cared for and able to develop.
It will really improve our team's well-being, and I think it will improve the services that we deliver to our customers, and hopefully it will give more positive outcomes with the interactions that we have with our customers.
We have also looked at the goals for the programme and how success can be measured.
One is that in all our meetings that we would see that people are talking about trauma-led practice.
My aspiration for Kirklees would be that the whole of our practice is trauma-informed.
What we want for Leeds is for everybody who works with children, young people and families to realise that they have a part to play in helping children and young people who've experienced adversity and for whom that's had a traumatic impact in their lives.
Personally, I want to make sure that we keep this conversation on every agenda. And we've been able to demonstrate that anecdotally over the last 3 years. So we see trauma-informed, we see adversity trauma resilience referenced in strategies.
I'd really like more people to be able to be benefiting it, to have an impact on outcomes from a greater number of people.
We hope this series has brought some insight into how and why we are building communities in all sectors that can have a positive impact. Above all, we would love for you to join us on our mission to make West Yorkshire trauma-informed by 2030.